Hello, how's everybody doing? Well, today, I can't say today because I did other videos. So what I'm going to say is I did another video on over and over with the Animar and Animar 115. So I can say welcome back. But anyway, we're going to do spice cake today. I did this spice cake before. It's a vegan spice cake, of course. And the thing I liked about the spice cake, first of all, was the smell. When I did it the last time, but it was like surprising. One thing that was surprising was the fact that the spices, I didn't realize the spices were so expensive and unique, actually. Like, for instance, I had to get cardamom. I got cardamom here. And this one, let me see where it's at. Okay, cardamom. And this one is just over $10. I'm sorry. That was really surprising for me. It could get like close to 20. I think I got this one, which is expensive also, maybe like $14, which is expensive. I just never realized that spices were so unique. So anyway, one thing I liked about the spices, and I think it's part of the nutrition, is the fact, this is what I just believe, the fact that they have this unique smell. And if you think about it, what is a smell? Nobody ever really, I'm just trying to take this stuff off. Nobody ever really thinks about, like smell and how important it is. And I think that's part of nutrition. And cardamom is so unique. The smell is just like really, really unique. So anyway, I asked my friend, of course my AI friend. I like to say the whole thing. I don't like to say AI. I like to say, is it AI? I always get your names mixed up. Artificial intelligence friend Bard. His name is Bard. And he was telling me, what is this? Okay, the oven is already preheated and now it's already ready, but I'm going to let it go for a while. And he was telling me about cardamom. I asked him, why is it so expensive? And he told me that, his name is Bart, I'll read to that, that it's very hard to make. And it has to be done by hand. He used a really nice word, macaron, or something like, I gotta get that word. I heard it before, but I wanted to put it in my vocabulary. So anyway, he said you can't use machinery. And it was a word for not using machinery. It was really nice. But anyway, they do it by hand. It's like, certain, and then it doesn't yield that much. It's so many things. It was that, and it's very popular. So those things put together makes it very expensive. Now, I think that the smell is very important as far as spices. I'm not talking about hot. I don't really like hot. But I like mild spices, I guess. I guess this can be called a mild smell spice, but it's really potent. So now I'm thinking about what nutrition it is. Just smelling it. There's something people have to think about. It just smells so good. I like smells, and I think smells are, I can't say nutritious, but I guess there's another word for it. But it's good for you, because I remember when I was going to school, I told you I went to school late, but the school I went to, and I guess I have to plug them, but what's the name of it, was in Denver. Metropolitan State College of Denver, or Metropolitan State University of Denver. When I left, they changed the name to university because they felt it would be better for our resume or whatever. And it sounded better. So, but they had these violets. Was it violets? Yeah, I think it's. I don't know if it's violets. I think it was violets. Violet. Anyway, it was like purple. I think it's violets. But you could smell it, and every time I would go past this field of violets, I would smell them all the time. It really, really was something else. And I think it's in nutrition and smelling. I really do believe that. So anyway, that's the cardamom. Now I'm going to smell all of them. Cardamom smells very good. Nutmeg is alright. It's kind of really spicy. Cardamom has more like a flowery smell to me. And now the cloves. I had to get cloves. This is a very important part of the recipe. A lot of people don't realize it. But if you listen to this recipe like this, I think you'll remember it more. You'll never forget it. And it's easier for when you do it. Even if you read it, you can say, oh yeah, I remember that. Or yeah, I remember that. So I don't really want to post it because I want you to go through I want you to go through the whole process, okay? And it's entertaining. This is another one. This one is cloves, and the smell is nice. Okay, but this one is just like a smell, okay? Like I said, and then the nutmeg is a smell too. But this cardamom is more like an aroma. But if there's a difference between aroma and smell, I'm going to ask my friend the difference between smell and aroma and see if there's any difference whatsoever that he thinks. And I use the AI because it's entertaining and you do learn something. It's very important. We went over that subject. Hello, Bard. I just wanted to know what's the difference between smell and aroma. So here he goes. Bard.
Smell is a general term for any kind of scent, pleasant or unpleasant. Aroma, on the other hand, specifically refers to a pleasant smell, often associated with food or drink. For instance, you might describe a freshly baked pie as having an enticing aroma, but wouldn't describe a skunk spray as having an aroma.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Always thank him. But anyway, okay, so now it's aroma. Now I can understand. Now, however, I would call this an aroma, and I would still call this, I kind of changed up things, even though he helped me out, I have to change it to what I feel. You know, I do love Bard, though. So I would still call this a smell, even after what he told me. A nutmeg, I would call it a smell. So I guess my definition of aroma is something that affects you mentally, I think. Not just physically. So that's what I would call aroma. Something that affects you mentally and physically. So now we have ginger, which I love. So let's look at this ginger. This was on sale. Thank you. Thank you. So let me put this in the trash can. I got the trash can right over here. I don't like to go... Okay, let me just keep it here because I don't like to go off screen. And I can get a little bag to throw the stuff in, but I'm not going to worry about it now. So, now we're doing ginger. I love ginger. When I was younger, maybe in my 20s, when I was on my own, on my own meaning that I guess I cooked for myself, or I was old enough to cook for myself, maybe like 19, 20, maybe around in my 20s, early 20s. I love ginger. Now, ginger to me is a low aroma. And that one is very, I would put it in the category of cardamom also. Now, I always loved this, and I got so involved in this ginger, the fresh ginger. I would put it in everything. And I remember I used to have hay fever. I guess everybody calls a lot of things hay fever when it's not. Well, that's what I did. But I would always get like this sneeze all the time. I guess it was during pollen time. I don't know. But every so often I would get it. I don't know exactly when it came. But I started like boiling ginger and made a tea out of it. I did everything with ginger. I did it so much that I think my body started this is the honest truth. People don't believe me. Until my body like started producing it by itself. I'm almost sure. I mean, not per se. I mean, I'm not talking like for sure. But if I do something like that with ginger, I just do it so much that it came to a point. I did it so much that it came to a point to where I didn't do it anymore. I mean, I didn't have to, but I still love ginger. But like I said, I don't eat it, and I would eat it, I would chew it, I would do everything with ginger. It corrected something. It corrected it so much I didn't have to do it anymore. That's just what I feel. I'm not saying it's the truth, but it has some kind of truth to it. So anyway, I got that, and that's going to be the spices that we have. And we also have cinnamon. Everybody knows cinnamon. Let's see if it's a smell or an aroma. I mean, if it's, can I say smell? Yeah. To me, it has a very slight aroma, but it does have a smell. Okay, and that's the cinnamon. I was going to say poignant, but I don't like to make a mistake with vocabulary words. Let me see. Okay, so I'm not going to do that. So anyway, so that's our spices that we're going to use for our spice cake. Like I said, I did it before, and the thing I liked the most about the spice cake, it did have a unique taste, and it had a unique taste, and it also had a smell, a very unique smell. I'm going to put dates in it. Now, there's one thing that I did that I'm doing, and that's another reason why you should listen to my recipes all the way through, is I put extra things into it, my expertise. I noticed that whenever I make a vegan cake, and I think this goes for a lot of different cakes or things that I like that's sweet. I love the top. You know, like when you cook something, the top and the corners, I really do like them. I just like the texture, I like the taste and everything. You know, like when you have a corner piece or something like that. Or the top of it, even the bottom of it. I don't know what happens, but I like those things. So last time I did the cornbread, because the cornbread comes out this thick, so I decided to put them in 2 pans. And when I put them in 2 pans, that means they're thinner, so it feels like I'm getting more of the edges or the corner of the surroundings of it. I guess I don't know how to name it. But, you know, I get, you know, double the amount of corners and double the amount of the surrounding top that's cooked in the bottom. So I guess I could say the crust, okay? But when I say crust, yeah, I guess that would be the proper way to say it, the crust. So I felt if I put them in two pans, I would get more, and I did, and I totally enjoyed it. It's much better. Cornbread, I just really enjoyed it that way, and it was thinner. Then I put them in packages because I use them during the week, so I don't have to buy out. And nowadays, it's really hard to buy out. Just cook your own stuff. I'm telling you some tidbits too. Forget about the fast food. Because I remember when the fast food, in the 60s and the 70s, fast food was really nice. I mean, because they cared. Actually, in the 70s and 80s, they really cared about their product. And even if it was a fast food, these people really cared about their customer. Nowadays, the fast food, forget it. Because I think they pass it on down to their children, or they sell it to where it just becomes a commodity, or it's just money, and that's it. So nowadays, when you go into these fast food stores, I mean, talking about Chipotle too, all of them, they really don't care. The only thing they want is your money. So they could care less about you're having a nice experience, this and that. Even McDonald's, it looks, I said, everybody talks about McDonald's now. It has no anything. The customer service is bad. The way it looks is bad. And that goes for all, from what I see now, from what it was in the 60s and 70s, it was like they wanted you to have an experience. Now, it's no experience. It's just like, give me your money. You know what I mean? And that's all it's about nowadays. So anyway, I went off into that tangent because I wanted to tell you about why I started packaging things. So now I got my packaging it's going to be my packaging for my cornbread. I put it in different packages, small packages. And I'm going to do it for the spice cake. And the reason why I'm doing them in order now, doing more, is that I found out, like, I ran out of my carrot cake and I ran out of my cornbread, and I didn't plan that. So one day or 2 days, I had to actually buy again something out, which was enormous. You know what I mean? Even at one place, I don't want to talk about them because they're really nice people, though. They're really nice people. But I got a coffee and an apple juice. It was like $10. That was too much. But now it's not even about that. It's just that I think it's healthier for me because the things that I do buy out is most likely not vegan. So you're living through this time that I'm telling you about this spice cake. And after you finish the video and you make your own spice cake, I think you'll enjoy it more and you'll get more out of the process. And you'll remember it better, okay? So I already did the carrots. There's going to be carrots in it. They wanted me, in the menu, they said the carrots kind of, put a, how can you say, paper towel, but because of the moisture, but I want the extra moisture, so I'm not going to do that. And another reason why is because I do remember it was on the dry side, although I liked it that way, but it was on the dry side, so I think I'm not going to, and plus they said 1/3 cup, I just did whatever one of them did. It says a half. And I know what happens to carrots now. So that's going to be the 1/3 carrot. I did that so it would save time. So I could talk more. Okay, so anyway, so now we're going to get the bowl. And let me read and see what's the first thing to do. I got everything that I was supposed to do. So the instructions, I greased the pan already. I got 2 pans because I said I like the crust. So I'm going to see if I could get more crust out of it. But if it's not that much, because I remember before, it wasn't that much. It was like a dough, and it was not that much. So, but it was not like cornbread's like this. That one was more like this. But I'm still going to try and put it in 2 pans. Okay, mix the flaxseed with water. Wow. Oh, I remember that. So anyway, I forgot to do that because the flaxseed has to be, to me, it has to be sat. So what I do for the flaxseed, I go a step further, and I don't like to get off screen. This one should move. Anyway, this whole thing, okay, there it goes. So anyway, You know, my thing that I do with, I don't like to put my glass on all the time. I boil the water for the flaxseed. And I make sure that it sits a while and absorbs whatever does whatever chemical process it has to do. So now I'm going to take this and I'm just going to turn it on. Oh, let me see. Turn it on. That should boil really, really fast. And then I have to get this flaxseed ready. And let's see how much flaxseed we have. Okay, so let's see. Flaxseed. Now I have to go up. Flaxseed. Okay, that's 1 tablespoon of flaxseed. And it's flaxseed. I know I pronounced it wrong. Flaxseed. Yeah. You know, I'm very, okay, see, I'm going to tell you an honest truth. The reason why I'm very, this is kind of weird, but it's the honest truth. I mean, the reason why I'm very subconscious about certain words and stuff like that, because when you're going through, I guess I have an accent or something, I don't know. But, when I was going through college, okay, they always feel, this is just the truth, okay, if you're black most of the time and you're not rich or something like that, they always think that you don't know how to speak, okay? And it's always like that. I mean, they always think that that people in general think that you speak differently, or they just, I mean, it's honest, because sometimes they think that you can't pronounce things. It's just, I mean, I lived through it. I already know. It's the honest truth. So it's like even when you meet people from different countries, as soon as you start talking, they go like, oh, this is going to be really difficult. And it's like they put it in their mind in the beginning that this person speaks differently. So that's kind of like a complex I got, so I really do worry about. But then they have the blacks who, they perfect things, okay? And I can't I mean, like, for instance, when I talk to them, woo, I mean, they do everything so precision and perfectly. And if I make a mistake, that's even worse, okay? So it's just like really complicated. But all in all, most people think I have an accent because I lived through different places. Not just that, because I study all the time linguistics. I don't do it for that reason. I just like different languages, and I always like linguistics. But I just wanted to tell you that part of the reason why I'm subconscious about certain things I say and everything is like because they feel, and I think I'm not talking about anything bad, I'm just talking about the culture of American culture. Like, if someone, and sometimes it's right, you know what I mean? But like, they do know their English, okay, like in America, they know their English perfectly, because when you don't understand, when you don't speak, and this is about, I speak different languages, I'm interested in different languages, but usually Americans only speak English. And they're serious about their English, their American English. And they know ins and outs, spelling, and not really spelling, because Americans are not very that well with spelling, but they know how to spell. If you say something that's a little bit off or something, they'll go, like, you know what I mean? So sometimes, like, when I talk to them and I say something like off a little bit, they'll go, no, it's this. But I know it's just, they can't, it's just so funny, you know what I mean? I mean, it's like, that's just part of our culture, that's it. But it's kind of fun, like, when you live here and you don't really take things so seriously. And but now with me, there's an extra added thing, because I do believe I do have an accent, because people have told me that I have an accent. I do. I think it's from studying constantly. Like, for instance, I always study like words and things like that. I mean, like every pronunciation of everything. I could go through a whole book of verbs pronouncing without understanding. So they do have a little bit of accent. But I thought that was an interesting point. So I wanted to tell you my insecurities. But it's very complex if you followed everything I said. So now I got this water boiling. And let me see something else. And I'm going to see how much. So let that go. And I know that we need a little bowl. A little bowl for that. I want to get the smallest one. And I'm getting the smallest one for the flax seed. I'm going to put the tablespoon. I'm almost sure it's a tablespoon. A tablespoon of flax meal. And I got everything lined up here, so I don't have any problem with to save time. But I'm taking my time telling you this. So anyway, I got the flaxseed. We went over flaxseed before. I like to make it, even though it's, I don't like the flat, I like just, like a heaping tablespoon. I know it's a little bit more because I like it, you know what I mean? So then I put that in there, the flaxseed. Once I put something in, I'm going to put this back. And this was kind of wet. I don't know why. I got wetness here. Okay. So anyway, so that's the flaxseed. I'm putting this back. So we finished that. Now, and the flaxseed gets, from what I remember, it should be 6 tablespoons of water. But it says 1/4 cup. Okay, mix the flaxseed with water and set aside. So they want 1/4 cup of water. Yeah, I'm going to get this out. But remember what I do to the flaxseed is I'm going to sit it in. The fourth should be the smallest. No, the third is the smallest. So anyway, I'm going to get the thing and I'm going to, I'll show you. I'm going to, I can move this right over here. Okay. So I have the water boiling, and I'm just going to get, I don't know if I could do that. Okay, I got this, but I think I need a little bit more. See, I got this. And I just scooped it out. Let's put a little bit more water. Okay, I don't mind if it has a little extra water. Okay. So anyway, what I do is I let me mix it with this fork. This is I do a little bit extra for this flaxseed. I put a little bit more than a fourth, and it needs to sit. So I'm gonna turn off the water and let it sit in the water. Let me show you how I do it, okay? So do you see it? Okay, I'm just going to sit it in here. Okay, like that. Good thing it's metal. And I took the temperature off totally. Okay, so I just went a step further because it's sensitive to me, this flaxseed. Okay, so I got that done. And I hope it doesn't go overboard. No, it's still boiling. But it's in a metal thing, and I got the temperature off, so that should finish that. Okay, I got the water, and then it says 1.5 cups of water, 1.5 cups of flour. I use 3/4 cups whole wheat. I'm not worried about it. And 3/4 cup or more all-purpose flour. I'm not doing that. Okay, it says 1.5 cups of flour, and this person says I use 3/4 cup. Okay, I'm not doing that. See notes for gluten free. Okay, I'm not doing that. So it just says 3.5 to, 1.5 to 1.75, which is not going to do that. And 3/4, she said to use 3/4 and 3/4, which would be 1 and 1/2. Yeah, okay. But I'm just going to use all-purpose flour, of course. I complicate some things, but I'm not complicating this. 1 and 1/2 cup of flour. So now I'm going to get this. I guess I'm going to get the biggest bowl. The biggest bowl I got. I don't have like really complicated, very simple things here. Okay, so let's. Okay, so here we go. So we have. This is 1 and 1/2. Now you know what I do. If it's 1 and 1/2, I always use 3 halves. 3 halves just to make things simple. Because if everybody knows that. If you use, then I'm dirtying 3 things. 2 things instead of 1. So I got this flour. I'm doing 1, 2. Maybe if I put it a little bit like this, you can see it. 1. And then I could get a knife like this and just do. Because flour is a major, it changes a lot. Things that change the menu a lot, things that change the recipe a lot, you be careful. Like for instance, I know flour will change the recipe a lot. It's just a major ingredient. Sugar would change the recipe a lot, so I wouldn't change that. I know that this, putting this back. I know that the flax seed would not change it that much. So that's why I didn't care about that. Okay, so I got that flour in. Thank God they don't want you to sift it, I guess. Okay, so water, flour, brown sugar, 1/3. Oh, let's go see if I have to do all these. Mix the flaxseed with water. We'll do that. In a large bowl, combine flour, sugar, salt, baking powder, all the dry ingredients. Sugar, cinnamon, ginger, all this. Okay, so now I could just add all whisk well. They want you to whisk. Oh, wow. Fold in dates. Okay. I don't know why they said fold in dates because there's nothing here that's dry. In a large bowl. Oh, fold in. Okay. So that's 1.5 cups of flour. Sugar. I'm just going to do all of the ingredients. Okay, so we have brown. Another thing too, what I learned, brown sugar. Oh, I'm not going to go there. So anyway, 1/3 cup of brown sugar. And I think that's all I have. I have another one, but then I have to open up the package. So 1/3 brown sugar. This is 1/4. Oh shit. This is 1/2, thank God. I thought I used the wrong one. 1/3. Okay, here's the 1/3. Just to make sure. Yeah, 1/3 of brown sugar. This one now, I'll use that knife, but I don't really want to, I don't care if it's under. So that's one thing I don't care. Because I'm using applesauce, but I do like it I don't like it on the sweet side. I don't like when I have that when you eat it and it's sugar. I don't want to taste the sugar, but I like the effect of sugar. So I'm not really going to, I'm actually not, I don't care if it's not exact. It's a little bit under. And I know that's not going to change it. Since it is brown sugar also. To me, I think brown sugar has no, I'm not going to go there because I'm not sure. Okay, so I put in the brown sugar, salt, 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Okay, and I got the salt here already. 1/2 teaspoon of salt. And this is 1. But we need 1/2 teaspoon. Let me just make sure this is 1/2 teaspoon. I should be able to see it. It's just that it's not written. It's just an impression. Here I am looking for this. 1/2 teaspoon, okay. This is an impression. It doesn't have like... I like to get to know them. I got to a point, which I'm going to get back again, to where I could tell just by looking at the size. And this is another thing. I got 1/2 teaspoon of that. Putting this back. Now we're getting into the lovely spices. Salt. 1.5 teaspoon of baking powder. 1.5. And I just put this down, but I'm looking. Oh, here it goes. I guess this is the one I use. I hate when I put something down and then I need it again. So here we go with this 1/2. I'm almost sure, yeah. I'm looking at this thing. Yep, this is 1/2. Okay, 1/2 teaspoon. So and this is important. The 1/2 teaspoon is important. So I got to make sure that this is 1/2 teaspoon. Yeah, I don't know why I didn't use that light before. Okay. So I have 1 1/2 baking powder. So I'm using 3 of these baking powder. Okay. And when you do a menu, when you do a recipe, you have to be so for sure. So anyway, because there's baking soda and baking powder. 1, 2, and 3. Baking soda. Baking powder. Yeah. Oh, I hope it's baking powder. Yeah. And then baking soda, 1/4 tablespoon. Oh, shit. Teaspoon. Okay. 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. 1/4. For now, we're getting into. Okay, put this away. And that would be probably the smallest teaspoon. Let me get this thing. Yep, 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. And this is the baking soda. Just very little. Some of these things, I don't see how in the world they came up with. I mean, like, how would they know? How would they know to put just 1/4 teaspoon in this recipe? But that's how it goes. But I know for bread, it's very important, things like that. So here we go. We have the baking soda. 1 teaspoon of... Oh, now we're getting into 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. And one thing I learned, especially with these spices, it's like... you want to use like a half sometimes and just do it in little increments. So now with these teaspoons, because look how big this teaspoon is. Like this teaspoon, okay? And then you have this little jar. So sometimes it's good to do 4 times. It depends. So let's see. So I have 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Ground cinnamon, okay. 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon. This is the teaspoon and 1 teaspoon. And some of them don't have that thing to where you could just shave it off. This one for cinnamon, I mean, kind of want it to be exact. And that's 1, just got to make sure. And this is, let's see, I got to see this tablespoon. Because I definitely don't want, okay, this is a tablespoon. I don't want to mess up these spices. And we got 1 teaspoon. And I don't know why, ever since I was doing this, everything seems like so big. I mean, like, if I put a teaspoon, it seems like it's a real big one. Okay, so I got this out. This goes back. Got the cinnamon, ginger, 1 teaspoon of ground ginger. Ginger. This was expensive, kind of. See, like this one, okay, like this one, like I was telling you, sometimes it's not good to use the, sometimes it's not good, like I'm going to use the half, because, first of all, it's really full, and it doesn't have that flat thing for me to, I'm not going to really care about it. So I'm going to take the half and put it in the 1. And it needs ginger 1 teaspoon. Boy, and it seems like the half is like, look at that. Okay, so I got this ginger, and it seems like, just put a little bit more. It just seems like it wasn't that much of a difference from a half to a, but it was. I just followed directions. So that's it for the ginger. That was an experience. And that's it for the ginger. Now next, wait until we get to the cardamom. 1/4 teaspoon of ground cardamom. After all of that we talked about cardamom, they only want 1/4. Oh my dear Lord. After buying all that cardamom, and they only want 1/4. Talking about it, but it's very, very neat. I don't know who would sprinkle it. So we got the cardamom. And this is like 1/4. Put a little bit more. I mean, you know. That's the cardamom. I had these cardamom cookies. I went to this vegan restaurant with cardamom cookies. Very good. But you know, it was so weird. On the menu, everything you do by yourself online, you know. And they had these cookies. They give you, it looks 2 cookies. It has 2 cookies. And it says for $4 and something. And the picture has 2 cookies. And they only give you 1 cookie. It's 1 cookie in a package. That's very, very misleading. I didn't say anything. Most of the time, people don't say anything. So, but they were very good, the cardamom cookies. But each time I go, well, I'm not buying them again. Okay, so that's the cardamom. That's the number one thing that we were talking about. 1/4 clove, and we just did the cardamom. And I hate when I put it down and then I can't. Oh, here goes. I put this down. Oh, we did the brown sugar and I didn't put it up. So that's done. Put that up. Yeah, put that up there. So let's go to the next one. Clove. 1/4 clove. These are a lot of spices. I swear. It's funny how everything, we did all the spices and they're all going to mix into this one spice. And that's the clove. This is really something else. This is really some kind of cake. It really is. Until we see it. Cloves. All this was expensive. Nutmeg. And I don't really go, I don't buy anything outside anymore. And let's put 1/4. It's funny because when I'm doing these videos, I mean, it's like doing a lot of work. It seems like it's not work because, you know, I enjoy it, but it's work. And when you do these videos, a lot of people don't realize, they think everything is so easy, but it's not really all that easy. I mean, it seems like it's easy, but it's not as easy because I can feel that I'm working. In my brain, what I'm doing is like, you're working, you're doing something. So you really got to be careful when you think that you could just do video after video. It's not easy because you're doing video after video, and you have to realize, especially if you take if you know my courses with American Yoga, which was dance without music, you know that you are actually doing something, and you have to, even the music, I have to realize that yes, I am doing something. I got some. If you don't think you're doing something, you're going to run into a problem. So anyway, I got the nutmeg. I think I did all of them. I got the nutmeg, and now the interesting part. Okay, so let's see what we're supposed to do. Okay, so I put the nutmeg, whisk all. I don't know why they say whisk all. I mean, I got a whisk. So I guess I would whisk it. But it's all powder. You know what I mean? They want you to whisk. And so let's just whisk. I don't know why they would want to whisk it. But anyway, it seems like I would have to like fold it in, but they said whisk, so I'm gonna whisk it. So here, everything is in here, and I'm just whisking it. It's all dry ingredients. And it smells great, but it's funny because all these different smells are together, aroma and smells, and it makes an aroma. So I can't say that it's all those, it just comes into one, you know, into one smell. Oh, I cannot believe that. It smells very good. So by the color I can tell that it's really nice. And that's it. I whisked it away. Okay, so that's the whisk. and then fold in dates. So now I'm going to get a folder. A folder. And I think this will be a good folder for this, okay? And the dates. How much dates do I put in? So dates are 1/3 cup of dates. And now I just need to find the 1/3. This is a half. Here it goes. 1/3 of dates. We have the dates, I already opened them, so this thing is going to go long, but we're enjoying ourselves. It's not really that long, really. It's 50 minutes so far. So anyway, 1/3 dates. Put this in here. They were really expensive dates, and then I saw this. I was so happy. This one was the least expensive, but it's all really dry. But the other ones, oh my dear Lord. So I got these dates. I'm kind of like putting a lot of them in. Not a lot, but I'm not so careful as to put exactly 1/3 in. So I'm going to fold them in. Put this up. I like to keep everything neat, so when I get finished, I don't have that much cleaning to do. That in there, and then I'm going to fold it in. I guess when they say fold it in, they just mean like this, So do that for a little while. Plus, I have experience with this cake. The oven is already heated. I was thinking about electricity. I just hope my electricity is not going to be high. But I don't really use that much. I was just thinking about that because it didn't come in the bill yet. So anyway, that's for that one. Okay, and now let's look at this. Add applesauce. Fold in applesauce, flaxseed mix, and oil and vanilla. Mix to just about combine into a slightly stiff mixture. Mix in grated apple, if used. Mix in grated whatever. I guess that's the carrot though. They said you could use carrots or apple. That would be interesting, apple. The batter is not too stiff. It's going to be all right. Okay. Add applesauce, flax oil and vanilla. Okay. So I'm going to add. There's another thing I'm going to do here that I'm going to do it. This is going to be my own special expertise. I'm going to take the ingredients, because we have applesauce. Let's see how much applesauce. 1/3 cup. So everything I fit in here. So I'm going to put the wet ingredients. I'm going to mix them up first, and then put them in here, and then put them in the dry ingredients. I just see that as a nice measure as far as mixing things together. So let's do it. So I have applesauce at room temperature, and it says unsweetened. I didn't put sweet applesauce, but this is the applesauce I got. No sugar added. It's already sweet applesauce, naturally sweet. And let's see how much I need. It's 3/4 of a cup. And for 3/4 of a cup, I'm going to use glass measuring. 3/4 of a cup. I could do 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. But let me see if 3/4. That's kind of messy. So I'm going to take the root of the least messy and put it, and let's just use one of these. Use this one to get the applesauce out. And we got 3/4, and that's it. Don't want to go overboard with this. 3/4 almost. You can, on applesauce, because I know this can really be dry. So that's why I didn't care about, that's why I didn't care about the carrots and making sure that it wasn't, they said they want you to take the carrots and dab them in the paper towel, but I don't want to do that because I knew it was dry. It was like a dough, and because of that, I did it before. I wanted to make sure that it's movable because it was really, I did it exact, but I just felt from the last time I did it, I said I was going to put this in another bowl. So I just wanted to be a little bit less thick because it says it in there. If it's too dense or it's too, like dense or whatever they called it, I'll read it again. Let me show you. It says, if the batter is not stiff, add flour. But I know it was so stiff before. That's what I mean. Add 1 to 2 teaspoons at one time. Okay. If batter is not stiff, add flour. 1 to 2 tablespoons. But I'm not going to do it because I know it's going to be stiff. But they wanted stiff. Was what I'm trying to say. They wanted stiff, but it was really, really stiff. And I don't care if it's just a little bit of stiff because, like I said, I'm putting them in two pans because I want more crust. So let's try that out. So let's say I have the applesauce, flaxseed mix. I already did that. So I know it's not going to be. And this, look at that. I can take the water out of that a little bit. So that's good. So actually happy I did that with the flaxseed. So I'm putting the flaxseed. I told you what I did with the flaxseed. And I'm mixing the applesauce with the flaxseed. So this is something I'm doing on my own. So when you mix it with the flour and everything, it's like, I'm always afraid, like, is everything going to be mixed? I think you have to mix too much more. But I'm doing all these wet ingredients on the side. So I have the flaxseed. Let's see another thing. 1/4 cup of oil. 1/4 oil. That should be the smallest one. I want to get to where I could just know this is 1/4. So I got the canola oil here. 1/4 cup. Another thing I wanted to say about being vegan, because I do I make sure when I eat oil or when I put oil in something that it's, like canola. Well, some people say canola is not that great, but it's an oil or vegetable oil or olive oil, which I really like. I like to try different kinds of oils also. But when you're vegan, you got to look at it this way. You don't eat meat. So you're not getting this fat from the animal at all. So if you use a nice oil, like, I'll put canola oil in this thing I'm talking about, or olive oil or something like that. You don't really worry about it so much because you don't eat eggs. And you don't eat like very bad oils, like animal oil. And there's animal oil and everything. Chicken, beef, if you eat beef, there's no way to get the oil out. Bacon, there's no way to get that oil out. It's almost like bacon is all oil. Okay, so I'm mixing the oil in there. What's another thing? And that should be it. Okay. One teaspoon of vanilla. Oh, let me put the applesauce away. Put that over here. It's too far to go. And I'm putting all these oils up. I got enough of the oil. Let me put this one first because this one's almost empty. That one's done. Okay, so now we got all of our wet ingredients. The only thing I'm missing is a teaspoon, I'm almost sure it's a teaspoon of vanilla. Teaspoon of vanilla. 1 teaspoon. And this is a teaspoon, yep. Of vanilla. Where's my vanilla? Okay. Let me see if vanilla. I don't think vanilla has a nice, I would call it an aroma. Yes. Teaspoon in the liquid, in the liquids. I don't remember. I think this was kind of expensive also. But I got a cheap brand, the store brand. And I'm mixing all of these. Mixing all of that together. All those wet ingredients. And I'm just going to mix it for a while. That's another thing, you're mixing. So just mix it for a while. Because what I learned from my physics as far as American yoga is that you put in energy, I believe. This is my belief. Is that the more you mix it, you're putting this energy into it. I know it's an energy because love. A lot of people say I made it with love. Well, I'm stirring it with love. But it's true about, it's definitely true about love because I got this, I have to say this, there's one thing I like. It's where I work. I'm not going to put specifics. I'm just going to tell you this one thing I really love. And I think it's the person that makes it. Because if somebody else makes it, I still like it, but not as much as this other person. When they do it, it's like, and I thought, I said, it's got to be some kind of love in this thing. It's just like energy, like you would not believe. And you know, a lot of people make it and it's good, but it has that extra thing. So that's what I'm putting. So I guess I can say stir with love. To stir with love. And that's what I got. That's what I'm doing. It's a difference. So now I'm going to put this. I'm going to put this inside the. I just put it inside the. See, now I got all the wet part, and I don't have to worry about knowing that this is not, like mixed. Because look at the vanilla. I know the vanilla is everything. It's only a little bit of vanilla. But because I've done it all in the wet, I know that it's even, or whatever it does when you stir it. So now I'm just folding this other thing in. This is more like a bread because it's going to be thick. But they want it stiff, and it's going to be stiff. Oh, there's one thing that I didn't put this in, which it was no big deal. But I want to wait for the carrots. I want to see how this is. These are things you have to do on your own. You have to think like this. If you don't have that kind of thinking, then you're not. It's not the menu. The recipe is not that interesting. If you can't imagine things like I tell you, or you can't imagine why I'm telling you this and why I'm telling you that, then you're not enjoying it. You know what I mean? You're not enjoying the process of cooking. And that's one reason why I could never cook for a long time. I told you I just really got interested in cooking in the last, I guess, 5 years. Less than 5 years, maybe 4. Maybe, yeah, I guess it's 5 years. Okay? And it's because, you know, I couldn't do it because I didn't have that love for it. I couldn't find the love for it. But then I guess being a vegan for a while, and I know it's better to cook some things, that helped me out. But look at now, it's in a dough. How did they put it? Not dough. Firm or something like that. And if you can see it, I think I dropped something a little bit, but I don't like that drop. And it's firm. Let's see what word they use. I need my glasses. Oh my dear Lord. Let's see. Okay, stiff. If batter is not stiff, so you want it to be stiff. And I told you, from what I told you before, look at it, it's stiff. But before I did it, it was like rock. Not so much, it was just really stiff. But you want it to be stiff. And you could see the texture because the way I mixed it, I think it was very important for me to put the wet ingredients in first. And now I'm going to fold in this. It's going to, I don't want to take the water out, so I'm not going to. They said, but it's still to me stiff. And now I'm just folding in the carrots. I think this is going to be a really nice. They said you could use apple. Apple would be interesting, but I already had carrots from the carrot cake, so this is going to be a. Last time I didn't put any carrots or anything or dates, and you can see. So I'm just going to mix this. Continually mix it. Oh, guess what? I'm going to do, there's things that are coming up. I want to do the meatloaf, vegan meatloaf, definitely. It's made with lentil beans. And the other one I want to do is, they got these cardamom buns. Oh, I just looked it up. Actually, my friend, I'm not going to keep saying that he's artificial intelligence. I'm just going to say Bard. So you got to know what I'm saying when I say Bard. A lot of things on my channel depend on you knowing the other videos. It's like a world, but I can't keep. It's important. I mean, because you can't. I've been going this for so long. I have like 2,000 videos. I mean, and it's like a place here for you. So I really much do the videos for people who are already here and who want to really do the work. You know, who want to work. And when I'm saying work, I'm saying being active in my channel. My channel, you have to be active. You have to at least think And I liked it because, like, when I did this Law and Order, I didn't think people were going to take the time to say, hey, you just can't look at this. You got to figure it out. Not that you have to figure it out, but there's a lot of things in here. And I noticed that that's what people did. I was surprised. And they just didn't look at the short. They looked at the long one. I like that. But, I mean, I could just tell these people are really serious. I know my viewers are serious about things. I mean, not everything. I mean, they enjoy their life, but they get more out of whatever they watch. They are serious. So that's why I came to a point to where I said to myself, why don't I'm entertaining or whatever, because they want to watch certain things I have. So I said, I'm just going to put my time into that, you know what I mean? The ones that I already have, and take my time and get, and get viewers. I mean, and get subscriptions. Just take my time. So anyway, this is it. So this is how it goes. And this is firm. And like they said, what they say, I'll do it again, stiff. The batter, and it's still batter. Last time I did it, it wasn't really like batter. It was more like dough. Okay. Okay, transfer the batter in a prepared cake pan and spread it using the spatula. So we're almost there. I already put the oil in. And I mix it with my hand because I noticed that when I put the paper on it, whenever I, spread it with the paper has all the oil on it. Maybe I should do that? I don't know. Excuse me. I'm sorry. So decision. I want to see if I should keep this like this or... Okay. I'm going to put a little bit of paper, okay? It seems like it has a lot of oil. I just don't want to put it on the sides. Okay, so that's good. I don't want it to be that much oil, but I have too much oil, I think, is what I was saying. And I made sure it's on the sides. So now, it's just oiled very well. And I'm going to do two, like I said. Put one there. I don't know if I'm going to do two, because this is very thick. But they know it's thick because they said, okay, I was going to use two pans, but this is like really thick. So I think I have to use just one pan. So I'm just using one pan. So that's it. I know I like my crust and everything, but I remember this one wasn't as thick. This one wasn't as, like puffy. Because, and they tell you have to like make, batter it around. I mean, like spatula it around, whatever that is. And this is it. And of course, I'm not going to put any, and I think it should melt out, right? And that's it. And this is it, if you want to see it, okay? And then I'm going to put it in the oven for 35 minutes. Wow. Okay, so bake 35 minutes or until toothpick comes out, okay. Cool the cake for 5 minutes and then remove from the pan. Mix a tablespoon of maple syrup or water and brush it all over the cake. Frost and frosting of your choice. Okay, I've heard of that before. Mix a tablespoon of maple syrup and water. So I'm not going to do that. So I may do that, soak it, but I'm not worried about that now. Now I'm going to put it in the oven and see how this thing works, okay? In 30 minutes. And we finished everything. I'm putting it in now. Thanks. Thanks for that. And you know, the thing about it is that it's good to see the video like this. It went on for an hour and 15 minutes. But it's good because I remember when I'm looking at someone do a recipe is very interesting. But like I said, I never liked just rushing through it. It was so interesting. And then they go, oh, this is done. Oh, this is done. Oh, this is done. So anyway, here we go. We have our spice cake. And next time you see me, I'm going to have it probably most likely in a short. And just show you the cake. I probably won't say too much. But thanks a lot for joining me. And I hope we have the real nice spice cake when you come back. Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Pierre Dur.